Hi, this is Rob from DMBAlmanac.com with This Week in Dave Matthews Band History. On July 23rd, 2021, DMB played their first post-pandemic show in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was the first full band show since two one-offs in February of 2020, and they chose to open with fan favorite number 41 as a welcome back. It was also notable for a few firsts: first Walk Around the Moon, first full band Ocean and the Butterfly, and the first full band Suite in about a decade, complete with a new jazzy jam. Other memorable highlights were Branford Marsalis guesting on Lover and What Would You Say, a choked up Dave barely, or not, making it through Singing in the Windows, and the first complete Gray Street since 2002. You can find all the tour openers and check in on current tour set lists at dmbalmanac.com, where you can see that the unique opener streak is now at 17 shows, and we never stop looking for information on older shows. Follow us on Facebook and Threads to get daily updates with everything that happened that day in the band's history.
Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of a band that has been making music for over 30 years. If this is your very first time to listen to this podcast, you're going to learn a lot about a band that started in 1991. And if you weren't born then, that's okay, because I was only 11. This band has been making music for 34 years. You are going to go along for a ride, because each episode, a fan of Dave Matthews Band comes on the show to just talk about their journey. How in the world did they find this music? And if they have been listening to it for a while, why in the world are they still doing that? If they had just found this band, like what made you listen longer? What made you feel like you needed to know who sang this song? So I have a fan on the show to share his journey. So I'm going to let him introduce himself. All right, tell us who you are, where are you, and tell us something cool about you.
Awesome. Renae, thanks for having me. My name is Joe Bruno. I'm sitting in the great state of New Jersey right now, as my Springsteen shirt probably alludes to. And I was born and raised in the state. An interesting fact, I've never lived anywhere other than the state, which is sort of a sad fact about me, but it's true.
No, that's not sad. You love what you love.
I don't know. Circumstances.
True.
I do love the state. We have a great music scene. And I would say a fun fact about me, my number one obsession is Springsteen and the E Street Band. And I live about 45 minutes from Asbury Park, New Jersey, where the band there's a huge place in their early history. So when I'm not traveling to see Dave, when I'm not with my son, I am, and sometimes when I'm with my son, we or I are in Asbury Park all the time. We just love it. It's
awesome.
It's a quick going out to the beach. Great music town, great food town, and just a lot of fun.
I love it. I love small towns. Would you say that that's a small town?
It's totally a small town. And the cool thing about Jersey Shore, and for those that aren't familiar, well, everybody's heard about that TV show, of course. But we won't talk about that.
Every household.
But up and down the coast of Jersey, there are these towns, and I'm not saying this like just to say it. Every town has its own personality. There are stuffy, buttoned up towns. There are college party towns, and Asbury Park is the most eclectic place you can ever visit in your entire life. It went through this huge gentrification and resurgence led by the LGBTQ plus community. So there is arts, there's food, there's music, there's people from every walk of life, whether it's sexual orientation, gender, ethnicity, age, tats, no tats, whatever it is. Like you go there and you just see a little bit of everything. And
sounds like heaven.
Not every Jersey Shore town is like that, but that one, it's a very welcoming community, very dog friendly.
Okay, so New Jersey, I've been there once for Dave. Homedale and Camden. Is Camden, New Jersey? Yes. Okay, I got confused because it's like right there
by Philly. It's across the water from
yes,
Philly. So
Philly, like so much that I had just seen for the very first time. We did Philly, and then of course we went to Camden to see Dave, and it was just like so much and so cool and so much history. Every state is beautiful, and that's been one of the cool things that DMB's allowed into my life is just, hey, like, let's just go to Indiana and hang out in a cornfield. Hey, let's go to Washington and go out to the middle of the desert. Like, let's just go to these random places that I promise you I would never sign up to do if it weren't for the music and the people I knew that were going to be there. He, yes, Dave is also a on his side gigs, he's doing vacation planning. But like, I always joke that he does my vacation planning. Like, he kind of tells me where I'm going to go in the summer. Like, hell, look at this year. We're going to go to Maine. Like, wow, this is awesome. And I've seen so many really cool small towns, large towns. I guess those are considered cities. So it's just been really good. So, we'll talk more about that later. So here's the question that I ask everyone that comes on the show. So can you remember a moment in your history that you heard or saw something about Dave Matthews Band?
I was expecting this question.
Yes.
And yeah, so in growing, I grew up in South Jersey, right near Camden, which is, as we were talking about, a stone's throw from Center City, Philadelphia. So you're big back then. Let's think back to that world of 30 years ago. You're going to the radio for your music. There's major indie rock influences in Philly. There's still 93.3 WMMR, 103.9, 100.3 WDRE. And, you know, we're coming out of grunge and into this alt rock world. And, that was my first taste, just hearing What Would You Say on the radio and thinking, that's banging. Like that's different. I like that.
It's different.
And then it just started to pick up traction and get talked about. You know, I was a server at the time working in restaurants, and, you know, so that crew's very into music and speaking of an eclectic crew, right? You work in a restaurant, you work with a lot of different types of people. And
yes.
And that led to somebody saying, And probably somebody I wouldn't have walked down the street next to and been like, oh, we'll be great friends, but wound up connecting over this music and saying one night, like, hey, we're both doing the lunch shift, but Dave Matthews is playing tonight in Camden. And that was my first concert. I don't even remember how we picked up tickets. There was no app. So I guess we bought them or stopped at JCPenney's, or for those that remember what that is, or Tower Records probably at the time. And how we got him, but we got there, and that was it. That was my introduction, and that was show number one.
So let's talk about show number one. So, you know, you'd heard radio stuff, and so what year was this again?
This is 96.
Okay, so 96. So we can all kind of place like what was out, right? Because you got to think about that. Like, what was he playing? Because there was a limited catalog in 96-ish. You know, do you remember anything specifically that he played, or the question more like is, why did you continue to follow them? Like, what did you hear or see or both that made you go, okay, well, I'm gonna just hunt down as much as I can or take this the next step?
I'm a big concert person, and out of everyone, I can't even quantify. Not that I'm trying to brag about it. Somewhere in the area between Dave and Springsteen, we're talking 150 concerts.
Wow.
And if you add everything else on top of that, I don't know, 400, whatever it might be. So I was going to a lot of shows at the time.
A lot, yeah.
And back then, of course, it was like, you know, back in my day, it was, you know, 15, 20, $25, whatever it was, right? So it felt easier to do. But
and you live in a great area where things are just happening, right? Like, you're not in rural whatever trying to, it was easier for you.
Yes, Philly's a great concert scene, and then New York's not far away, although I wasn't really tapping into that at the time because I was young. And
you were young.
Didn't have the means to transport myself, but
I get it.
But I just remember feeling a connective energy that I still feel today with not just the music, but with the fan base and the crowd. And you're right. It's not like they had the catalog that exists here. We all now know, or knew then maybe, that outside of what was on the one major LP and on, recently, that there were these underground, undiscovered, unrecorded songs, whatever you want to call them. So there was a lot of that coming in. And of course, I don't pretend it was at that show, but you're starting to learn about things like songs like Granny and other things as the bootleg scene was huge, right? So I remember driving to the boardwalk at towns in Jersey where you could go into these places that, if the cops came in, they would cover things up with blankets because they weren't supposed to be selling them. But they would have these CDs, the illegal bootleg CDs of bands, and picking that stuff up and hearing some of those songs for the first time. So that's what was being played. But just what I remember most is just feeling happy, feeling that vibe, feeling that energy, and wanting to go back and see it again. You go to see some concerts, it's great. You check the box. I saw that band. You may or may not go back, but there was just something that left me wanting more.
Yeah. So what does that look like? What's your next step? Like, what do you do? Do you jump out and get some more music? Do you head out to another show? Like, what does that look like?
So shortly after that, that was college for me. And I'm starting, then it's, I'll see them as they come into town, which would have been at best once a year, eventually twice in different venues. But then, it just boomed, right? And now I'm finding that friend group that I was going to hang out with after college. Some of my best friends still to this day. And one in particular, I still go see Dave with. And it felt like overnight, it went from a night at what was called the Tweeter Center back then in Camden to 3 nights at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, or 3 nights at Giant Stadium in North Jersey. And the way they engage their fans and do their set list, you had to see it all. You couldn't miss a night, right?
Yes,
so usually I love a lot of bands, and a lot of them are just very static. One set list that's the set list for the tour. Right. Clearly that's not what we're talking about here. We all know that. But it was like must-see TV on every night. You couldn't miss anything.
Exactly.
Right? So
exactly. I still feel that way.
1 or 2 shows a year became 3 in one city. And then, they're coming out with a new album, and they're playing in Roanoke, Virginia. Let's drive 8 hours and let's go here and let's go there. It just blossomed and ballooned, and it just became something you didn't miss.
Tell us what year you graduated high school.
I graduated high school in 1994, which makes me 48 years old.
Okay, well, I'm 46, so you're not old. You're not old. Because if you're old, I'm old, and I'm not saying that yet. I don't feel old. This is the best time of my life. I always joke that I truly believe the 40s and the 50s are the prime best time of your life, because you got shit a little bit together, right? Like a little bit better than we did when we were 20. So I'm feeling proud of myself. I'm glad I'm still alive, man. Like all the things, right? Yeah.
You're not scraping together the nickels and the couch cushion to buy those concert tickets. You can actually
because with time it's gotten way more expensive, right? And then, especially for the fans that live in areas where the band doesn't come often, that's where it will really trip you up, because you're like, dang, I can afford the concert tickets all day long, but can I afford the airfare, the hotel, the food, all the things that come along with it. So yeah, it can be a lot. But in traveling, what did you see? What did you start to see? Why travel for this band?
Now,
what's up, y'all? This is David with the Dave Matthews Tribute Band, also known as the DMTB, and I'm here to tell you about our 2025 Sun's Embrace Summer Tour, which is happening now up and down the East Coast. If you've never heard of us, we're a tribute to DMB focusing on the old, original style of the music, featuring a violin, saxophone, sometimes some keyboards, and sticking to those 90s, early 2000s arrangements of the songs to help transport the listener back to a nostalgic time of tape trading and all kinds of good stuff when Dave was emerging out of Charlottesville in the early 90s. So if that sounds like your vibe, we hope to see you at one of our shows, and you can check out our tour dates at thedmtb.com/tour, or by checking out our socials by searching the DMTB. We'll see you on the road.
Keep in mind, back then I think the furthest I went was Roanoke for decades. And then it was all local stuff. And then, kind of the road you were going down, that's your 20s, then your 30s and your 40s come along, and you've got a little bit more income, a little bit, sometimes more free time, sometimes not, depending on your situation.
Right.
But the people you meet along the way have a lot to do with this, right? So
Yes.
You mentioned having a friend in Jersey. You meet somebody at a show and they live in Arkansas or they live in Texas. And then it's, why don't you come here? I'll come to see you. You come see me. It's reciprocal. And that's where the people really kick in, because then you're starting to recognize the environments. Like Saratoga was this last weekend, right? So you get there. Now that's a very different place, but in a good way. You're just immersed with the culture and the family, and everybody's coming together. Even more so than just at the venue in Camden. They're flying, they're driving, they're spending their vacation money for that year. And it's an energy you just can't duplicate, right? It's like everybody's there for a similar purpose, or for the same purpose, but with similar interests, and to feed off that. And just to be, it's one thing to go to a show for 3 hours, and that's great. And you're in that concert vibe and nothing else is going on in your life. That's all that you're focusing on in the world. And now multiply that, right? You're there for 72 hours over 2 shows, eating, drinking, hanging out with the people that you don't get to see all the time, or you're just meeting for the first time. And it's just cool as shit.
It is. It's like Dave Camp. That's what I call a lot of those venues where you're just like there, and you're there because you can't leave, or because you don't want to. Because a lot of people love to camp at a lot of different venues across the United States. And camping is a lot of fun for a lot of people. And if you've listened to this podcast enough, you know that is not okay. Number one, I live in Arkansas. So do you not think that like all that shit is not here? I'm good. Like, I want to go to a city. I want to go where somebody's doing something that's not already happening here, because in my household, my husband always goes canoeing and kayaking and like all the outdoor stuff. That's just like cool. I should have stayed home. But that, I don't have 10,000 Dave fans in Arkansas, but only sometimes does Dave Matthews Band grace the state of Arkansas with their presence every 2 to 3 years. And I'm so thankful, because then it is so cool when like all my friends from everywhere come to what feels like my personal show, like this is mine right here. Like, who else comes to Arkansas? Nobody. This is mine. And it feels so good. It feels so good. Last time they came was 2023, and we had a pool party, and like all these strangers just showed up at one of my friends' house, and we just welcomed everyone and fed everyone. And it was literally like we already knew each other, but we didn't, but we had that one thing in common. And that's all we needed at that moment, because you know how it is when you get together with Dave fans. What do you talk about? Dave, right? That's what you usually talk about.
If you're there,
common
out. It's so easy.
Right. And then that simple thing of like, we like the band, and the fact that we all like to talk about it, and nobody really wants to listen except for these people at these shows.
All right. Can I share a thought?
Yeah.
Something I find really interesting, because when I talk to my friends, what I call my friends in the real world that don't do this stuff, don't understand.
Yes.
Right?
We all have them. We all have them.
You had 72 hours without having to work or be a parent, and you chose to drive 4 hours and go see the same band you've seen 82 other times, 2 nights in a row, and drive back 4 hours and be a parent on in a moment. And you're like, hell yeah. But they always make fun of me. Like, well, so what do you do? Talk about like, well, the first time I heard ants marching, like, what do you guys talk about? I'm like, that was not like that. You're not comparing stats. You're not sitting there like, well, how many times have you seen the band? You're just around people that understand it, so you don't have to do that stuff, right? It's chill. It's cool. Everybody just wants to be around people that understand why they're there, like they are, and it's hard to explain to the real world.
Yeah, no, I get it, and I think that it's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, if there's like 10 different reasons, was because I thought that it was a story that like no one understood. Especially, people that are not fans, mostly because of people that are not fans of Dave Matthews Band, to get an opportunity to listen to, hell, if you listen to 1 or 5 of these episodes, you'll see what this small thing we call music has done for so many people and opened up opportunities for people and has been a tool to save lives. But then also just the beautiful things like building friendships, and which is a hard thing to do when you're an adult, I have to say, like, because we do the same things every day, right? Like we go to work, we come home, we go to work, we go home. Like sometimes we'll go out to eat or have, a weekend or whatever, but like it's hard to meet people and get to know them and also have the assurance that we're going to have something in common, right? And that is all taken away when you start meeting people by hanging out weekends to go to a Dave Matthews Band show. And so it's just really cool way to document for, future people, current people, that this is not a weird and nerdy thing. It's not weird and nerdy that you took your vacation days and did all the things that you just talked about. It's a thing that you love and thousands of other people really love. It's no different than chasing around a football team. Let's say I'm a big whatever fan, Chiefs for safety because they're close and they're good. People die hardly follow their football, their soccer, their baseball, like try to go to every game. And how is that different? How is that different?
I don't even mind calling it nerdy.
I don't care. I'm self-proclaimed. Self-proclaimed.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. It's the same as any other. And actually, I've had people say to me, I don't get it, but I wish I had something in my life that I felt that strongly about.
Right. I mean, it's admirable to be this committed, right? I mean, I know the band is thankful because they're going into their 34th year, and you don't go into your 34th years with no fans. It takes all of this to make it happen. I know they're thankful for all of this. I'm very sure that they're aware that their music has been used more than just like a fun time, 2 hours in New Jersey, like it's so much more than that to so many people. And I always say that once this live part of the band is over, we're all going to need support groups, because what will we do with our vacation days? Like, what will we do with our time? And how will we see all these people that all of a sudden we're just like cut off from? Like, we're going to set up support vacation trips where we just go to Mexico for the hell of it. And we play Dave the whole time and we talk about the past. Like, that's what we're going to do. It'll never be over in my life. This will never, no matter what they say, it's never going to be over for me.
Well, I believe, and I hope and believe we've got a few decades before we have to figure that part out.
I mean, that's very generous. So nerdy fact. Okay. But I'm nerdy. If you've listened to this podcast, you know that I like weird stuff about this band. So I'm sitting at Deer Creek a couple of weeks ago, and it was no music playing. So I wasn't just chatting to chat, but I was like, I know how old Dave is for whatever crazy reason, but I don't know how old everyone else is. I just need to like figure that out real quick. For whatever reason, these are the thoughts going through my head at a concert before music. So the lady that was with me, who's from New Jersey, but I won't say her name just in case she doesn't want like her name out. I will. Suzanne Swirl. She's a dear friend and she lives in New Jersey. Anyways, she's sitting next to me and I'm like, how old is so-and-so? Because I just was for sure she was going to have the answer because she has been to like 450 shows or something. I just was sure she was going to have the answer. And did you know that Rashawn and Buddy are, well, they're my age. They're 46. I had no idea. I thought they were younger because they look amazing. Let's see. What were the other ages? Jeff, I don't remember how old he is. And then here's the kicker though. Carter.
I know where you're going.
Carter. I love Carter. He's what? He's getting on up there. He's on Medicare, y'all. He's on Medicare.
Yeah.
I don't know if he at least he qualifies for it. I don't know if he's probably not. I don't know. But like, I have worked with the elderly, and he's not elderly yet, but like, you can't be playing the drums for that many years forever. Like, it's your hands and your wrists and all the things. And I know that money pays for like the best trainers and all the things. So thank God for that. But I hope and pray that he stays super healthy, that he is able to carry on, because I can't see a world. I mean, I would be open to like looking at changes because I just want them. But like, I can't imagine a world without Carter. I can't.
I get that. That would be a huge, crushing blow, right? Like it's hard to, you never want to think about, I don't even want to use certain words, like replace. That's not replaceable, but there are bands that have lost members that have moved on in other directions, and that happens too. Okay. Springsteen, Clarence Clemens, irreplaceable, but they moved on. Different stage in life, earlier,
right.
We could talk about the differences and similarities for a while.
Today, Ozzy Osbourne died today on this day. And I think about him, and even though he wasn't necessarily, we'll say, my cup of tea, I respect his music and I respect what he was able to do through music. And I also remember the fact that he killed it in more than one way, right? He didn't just he wasn't always a solo act. That was just something that he moved into later. So I believe that musicians can have multiple lives, if you want to use it that way. Sure. So, they're all, every member of Dave Matthews Band is incredibly talented individually. So none of them will have issues ever seeking employment. But, I really do hope that we have years with the full band still, because I feel like we're just in a really good groove right now. Fans are hotter than ever. There's more than ever. There's generations of fans now, and they're just killing it and surprising us continuously with like, what the fuck are they going to do next? How can they up that? How can they up that? And they always do. And that blows my mind. Like, how are they still so on fire? I think a lot of that is love and passion, but like, what else fuels the flames? What else? I guess that's all it takes, though, is love and passion, right? That's all it takes. And a healthy body.
Do you think they're fueled at all by surprising us? Because back to the set list thing, right? Like, nothing gets the fans going better than being surprised to hear what comes out of that set list.
I think that they are fucking with us, if you want to be real honest. And I think they enjoy like that cat and mouse game of like, let me throw this out at you and let's see how you respond. And then let me do this and let's see. Because if you don't think for a second that these dudes don't see every fucking post on social media, you're wrong. They've got a person that's paid to do that. So they know what we like and what we don't like. And not that they cater to that. They don't. But they also may or may not get the response they like, but oftentimes I think they like really just fucking with us, because why the hell not? We eat it up every single time.
Otherwise, why would you do PNP into a different song 7 nights in a row?
To fuck you up. To make you talk about it and to make you come back for more. They're like marketing geniuses. Not only are they amazing musicians, but marketing geniuses. I would like pay money just to be a fly on the wall at these whatever meetings, whoever's in them, and just be like, you know what? I think this is going to be a great idea. What if we just like don't do P&P into Rapunzel and we fucking play it into a new song? Good idea or bad idea? And everybody was like, fucking yeah, let's do it. That's amazing. And look what it did. It like set the world on fire for years because people are still talking about it. There's still a dude that's running around in a pig costume every time Pig is played because of that moment. It's amazing. It's amazing what is happening. And so, what's next? What is next? I don't have a clue, but I'm here for it either way. But like, what keeps you coming back for more? We know the music is a big reason. We know the fans are a big reason, but you've experienced that, right? Like you've done that, you've been to a lot of shows. What keeps you coming? What makes you keep going? Or is it all those things?
Yes. And so can I get can we get deep and real for a second?
Yeah. This is the show to do it.
Let's fucking go. So, I mentioned my 8-year-old roommate.
Yeah.
He's a trip. Joey.
Your roommate.
That's how I explain like the mess around here. I'm like, I'm sorry.
I love it.
My roommate doesn't clean toilets yet. So
it's like a real slob.
So, Joey's mom and I got divorced about 4 years ago. And she's fantastic. And she lives a quarter mile down the road, and we just actually took Joey to Disney World 2 weeks ago, the three of us.
Awesome.
It was amazing, and we have a really incredible relationship we worked hard to build. But point being that there was a time when I was transitioning out of that relationship, and I didn't know who I was for a bit and where I was going and how I was going to spend my time. And I unboxed a bunch of poster tubes I had from back in the day. And it wasn't necessarily Dave's stuff. Actually, very little of it was at the time. And it was other things from other concerts. And I had never done anything with them. And I finally had like a space to myself. And I thought, all right, this will be cool. Let me dive into this a little bit. And then I started to look at ticket stubs and shows I'd been to and posters I wanted. And then I was quickly on a hunt for a poster for every show I'd been to.
Oh, God.
And some of those are, $12 and some of them are not.
Some are not. Some are 12,000.
But it became a hobby and it became slight obsession at the time. And then it became an avenue where I was meeting more people and very specifically drove a half hour away to meet somebody for a $60 poster exchange that turned into a beer and a second beer and a third beer. And then it was hey, have you ever been to SPAC? And no. And I actually had not seen Dave in a couple of years because of everything going on. And Joey at that point was just a couple years old, right? So you're not exactly running off to shows. Right. And that formed a friendship with one person that turned into 2, that turned into 4, that turned into 8. And 4 years later, we were 15 large at SPAC this year, rolling around town, feeling like we own the place. But not just like, and some people I've known for a small amount of time, but others that I've gotten to know much better. Our kids have met, and we've been, with each other when things have not been going great, and tragedies and laughter, but tears and all these other things. And that's 100% what keeps me coming back nowadays. The posters. Yes. No, I'm kidding. The friends.
Wait, I was like, I think my mouth literally dropped at that moment. I'll have to go back and like replay that. But I think I was just like,
I love the posters. The posters are still cute, but this group, I can't say enough about. Just good humans find good humans. You find who your people are. You don't have to be friends with everybody in this world, but you find the ones you click with, and it's that group that they're the ones that got me to the Gorge last year for the first time, and just pushed me in a good way to do more and see more. And I'll see them in Camden on Friday, or some of them, a couple of them.
I'm so excited for you. Camden is always such. I mean, it's one of those places that everybody says you got to go to. Or at least in my world.
About that? Can I actually need your...
We can talk about whatever you want.
I need your outsider's perspective on Camden. When you grow up 10 minutes from Camden, and I grew up in a beautiful community where I never felt unsafe or that things were not good. But Camden gets a bad reputation from a city perspective. Nobody leaves the venue and starts walking around Camden. You're departing for Philly, or you're getting into the suburbs further into Jersey. It's not a destination like Saratoga where you go and you walk around Camden for 2 days, and there's posh restaurants and things like that.
And it's like you're in a painting. It's all beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do find it so interesting when people are like, I've got to get to Camden. I'm like, I personally love Camden.
You know why?
College in Camden. It has so many beautiful parts to it.
It's not for Camden. It's for the set list that Camden gets.
All right. But last year's set lists were fire. absolute fire. But I feel like that was not, I don't think it was always that strong. But you tell me.
I want to say that I remember every Camden show, but I don't. And I've only been to one. And I couldn't have picked a worse year. I mean, it was a great year. It was the year that an album came out and like, it was amazing. But my first time at Camden, I was in Pitt and a dude got thrown out by Dave Matthews himself. He was so pissed. Dave was like, get the fuck out. Because this dude was like pushing somebody like legitimately and security took him out in handcuffs. That's my first year at Camden. So what do you think I thought? I was like, oh my God, this is all real. People said it's scary here. And like, look, some dude is here getting kicked out by Dave Matthews. So I don't have a really good answer for you.
You're going to try hard to get kicked out of a Dave Matthews concert. Like, you really have to.
I mean, you start pushing around. If you're a big ass dude and you're pushing around on little women, don't be a dick. No, don't be a dick. It's not that hard.
No, agreed.
It's not that hard to be kind. For 2 hours. Ooh.
I remember being a kid thinking Homedale was like the other end of the world from Camden. And meanwhile, it's like 70 miles, maybe. But when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, to get to Homedale was like a big deal, let alone MSG. Right now, it's like,
wow.
You pop up there for the
You have trains that go everywhere. I'm sure it's like so easy. From what I hear from like the friends that live in the Northeast, they're like, yeah, we just hop on a train and we get there. That would be so nice. I'm just going to get in a train and hop in. No, we got to drive everywhere around here. Everywhere. So I know it's super nice.
What's the furthest you've ever traveled for Dave?
I mean, I've been to both coasts. So I've been to Washington. I mean, I went to Cancun for Dave and Tim. I guess that's the furthest, like, because it was out of the country. Yeah. But like, that's not the whole band. And so I have to categorize it because that's that's what you got to do. At least that's what I feel like I need to do. Other than that, yeah, I've been to all the Jerseys, but I haven't been north of Jersey, unless New York is north. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, do you know exactly where Arkansas is? Be honest.
It's in the middle.
It's in the middle. Yeah, I've had so many people on the show that are like, where, what? Like, I've heard of it clearly, but like, where is it? I'm like, dude, come on. We've been part of this for a while.
It's not new.
Oh my God. But yeah, I mean, there's not a place I wanted to go to Europe, but like, it's just convincing my husband that we should just continue to spend thousands of dollars to travel to see this band. And while he's a fan, he's also like, we could just like put that away and like retire earlier. And I'm like, you know what? That's a good, yeah, I like where you're going with that. I want to retire early, but also I want to go see them, so it's like, I don't know, live for today, I guess. I don't know.
Life is short, buy the concert tickets.
I mean, that's what I keep seeing. Speaking of posters, 2 posters behind you. If you're listening to this on a podcast app, just know that you can go to YouTube and you can watch almost every episode, not all of them, but most of them. If you come over to YouTube, but also you can see cool posters behind Joe. Sometimes I have cool posters. This is a replica, obviously, a tiny little beautiful girl that I didn't get because I wasn't there. But let's talk about the posters behind you because they're also girls, and not just a girl, the girls.
So when I started to track down the posters to the shows I had gone to, I remember like it was yesterday, this dude was like, I'm getting rid of this. I think it was like the Philly train poster, or maybe it was the Sweet Tea poster. I don't remember. And he goes, I only focus on Sperry's now. And I was like, you mean like the shoes? What's that? Then I started to look into that, and I rarely, outside of these 2, I'm not sure if I've ever gone out of the shows I've been to. But when I saw this one with the original one, the 2019 one, I was like, holy hell! Like that is just. I mean, I buy a lot of posters. I wouldn't call all of them art worthy of living on its own independently of the memory of that evening. But these, come on, you could walk in anywhere, not even read what's the text on them and be like, that's fucking beautiful, right? So
it's art. Yes.
Somebody was selling one at the first one at a pretty decent price. And I was like, I'm doing it. I just had to have it. And, hung it up. And then the second one popped 2 years ago. And of course, it's like having a dog. You can't have one and let it alone. It might be lonely.
You can't separate sisters. Do you know what that would do to them? Keep them together.
So I would show you the ones I've actually been to, but I don't think it would be good podcast if I walked this computer around my house right now and showed you all the other ones.
Yeah. And you know what? 99% of the people that listen to this. They're not watching, but you might as well say, this is my 1957 Picasso, and they would totally believe you because they're not watching. Or I don't even know if that was in the right year frame probably not for that artist, but whatever. I'm not an art dealer. Okay. I don't know. I knew the name and that was impressive enough. Other than that, like I hear about Sperry and, oh God, who else do we have, that I really love? Right in front of my face. Watch me. I'm going to get up because I can. Okay. Let's see.
The host has left the podcast.
Oh, no, you can still hear me. I was just roaming around. James Flame or James Flames. Dude, woo, I love everything he does. And there's so many more people that get chosen. Don't you wonder what the process is to get chosen to do the art for a show?
Do you think they just be like, hey, I noticed this person, they're doing cool stuff for this band. We should bring that person on. Or is there an application you fill out? I have no idea.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, but I would love to just know. Come on, guys, get on that. If you know the story behind this, send me a message because inquiring minds want to know. And if that's cool, I think thousands of other people would like to know too. So I'll talk about it on my podcast. One particular that is my most favorite, and then I'm going to ask you which is your favorite baby. So I know that's sometimes like picking a favorite child. So you be thinking of it, like which poster is your favorite. And that's cool if it's already the ones that we've talked about. But I'm going to tell you my favorite poster. And again, I feel like I have to categorize this. And here's why. I think that I have art that is an emotional piece for me. When I look at it, I have an emotional response to it. And then I think I have art when I look at it, it's just beautiful. And it makes me happy, or I look at it and I have a certain whatever, but or you just like it for the hell of it. I have a lot of those where I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? And then I was like, well, I liked it. And so I got it, but it doesn't go with anything else. Right. One poster that I have is a James Flames. It's the 2021 Raleigh, which was the first show back after COVID. And I, as a nurse during COVID, that was a really big deal for everyone, including the band. But it was a big deal for me, through my bones, right? We had just been through the shit and didn't know when it was going to be over. I didn't know if I was ever going to get to see them again. There was all that doubt, right? Because we didn't know what was happening at the time. And so when I finally got to go back out and I made it a priority to okay, I know that I just, I'm still needed at work because we were still going through COVID for well after 2021. But, I just needed it. And so I went, and it was everything that I see when I look at that poster, because it has people just sitting on a bridge, just sitting there together, dangling their feet, and it reminds me of that show and how important it was for the world of the fans behind this band. And I love it so much. It takes me back to that moment and to that emotional space every time. And I say that to say there's no other poster that I have gives me that feeling. So, do you have a poster that is your favorite? Is it the ones behind you?
No, I love them, but I wasn't there. So you mentioned,
right.
It gives you you like it as a piece of art, or it gives you a reaction you can't even explain. Then there's just the memory poster, right? What did that night mean to me? So I've got a couple of favorites, but I'm getting a little goosebumpy.
I know. Ooh, that's when you know it's getting good.
That's what, Madison Square Garden, night 2, 2023, because that was Joey's first ever Dave show. And we were on the first level and we were in line for posters and they sold out like 2 or 3 people in front of us. And, you know, try explaining to him, he was 6. So you're explaining,
Right.
you know, why we're even doing this. And back to the friend group. Somebody upstairs was like, I got you in line, got it for you, ran up. They were already they already had it rolled in a tube for us and ready to go. And we got home and I was like, what do you want to do with it? He's like, let's go to my room, dude. I was like, okay. So he's got 2 posters in his room today. He's got that poster and he's got last year's MSG night 2, which was the ants having coffee, the famous.
Yes. Oh my God. So good.
Yeah.
So
So
good.
that's literally above his bed. And
Oh, wow.
he wouldn't let me take him out of his room if I tried. Like
He's like, what grade is he in?
he's going
now?
into 3rd in September.
He's going into 3rd and he's the coolest kid in the 3rd grade because he has 2 Dave Matthews Band. Like if his teachers only knew, they would be like, yep, you're getting an A. Because, you know, well, I don't know. Teachers these days are like 21 and 22, which
I was going to say
23, 24.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if you got any 40, 50-year-old teachers, tell them about that poster because you will get a heads up. And be like, hey. He doesn't know that now, but he will know it later. I keep telling my daughter, she's 15, but I'm like, dude, tell your art teacher, tell your music teacher. I'm telling you, like, they're going to love it. And if they don't, then like have me come up there and I'll give a 1-hour presentation on why you are not a good art teacher.
Change schools, one or the other.
It's not that easy in Arkansas, dude. We ain't got 47,000 schools. I mean, first world problems. So, you know, I can't thank you enough for sharing all of your fun stories. And nobody else has these. And I think about the future stories that are to come, you know, with Joey just being 8 and being 6 when he got his first, you know, he may not remember those moments when he's 40, but he will always have just a connection with those because they've been in his room. Even when he was young, he remembers that. He'll remember that special time with dad too. And those are the moments that are gold. Like, so I hope that you know that and that you see that you're just pouring into him. Even if later on he doesn't necessarily like the band, it's not about that. It's sometimes it's just about those relationships, just like you said.
100%. And, you know, my sister's really into this scene as well. Not necessarily Dave. She's been to Dave with me, but huge concert fan, and her kids are a little older. So one's going into college. The other one's going to be a junior in high school. And my niece in particular is like, Mom, you and Uncle Joe got to get me pre-sale tickets for this band. And we should go to Florida because that date works better. And I love the bond that they have and I see it. And I hope, you know, if he follows me on this journey farther, that's great. If he doesn't want to do certain things, that's great too. But I hope we're establishing just that, you know, just like you said, it's the spending of the time, it's the traveling together, it's the bonding. And if it turns into a passion for him, that's great. If it helps him find other passions, probably even better.
You're staying up and making those memories, man, with your son. This time in our lives, like now that I know how old you are, these are the years, and I hope everyone knows this. These are the years that will be the good old days that we will talk about when we're 80. You're living in the good old days right now. So cherish all of that, because when we're old and 80, thank God, hopefully like we make it to that. But like, we're going to look back on this time and think, wow, I was a badass. Those are some great memories. And these are the good old days.
I flew across the country to sleep in an RV for 3 nights to do XYZ. Like,
those are going to be great stories. I hope you don't have to go to a nursing home, but if you are, those nurses are going to love your stories.
Did I ever tell you about the time? Yes, you did.
Yeah, 47 times, but that's just what you're going to talk about, sir. Like, probably.
Yes, we'll change your poster out. Stop talking about it. Fine.
Your great granddaughter brings one up every week. You got to rotate that shit out. Oh, I thank you so much for taking the time out. It's a weekday. It's late where you are. So thank you so much for taking that time out. I feel like it's so important to record all of these stories. We know that at least Dave says there's 35,000 fans of the band. And so I almost have 200 episodes, which means I have a very long ways to go if I am going to get to 35,000, which is not going to happen. I understand that. But like, can we make it to 1,000? Can we make it to 500? I don't know. Y'all are in charge. You are that are listening to this, you that are watching this. I'm not in charge of what happens, because if you don't call, I have no one to be on the show, because my story's been told and probably told and told, and I don't want to do it anymore. So this is about you guys and just documenting this time in history, because it deserves it. And there's a lot of negative shit in the world right now. There always will be. There always has. So that I can shine a small, beautiful, healthy ray of sunshine into the world with these stories is all I could ask for. And so thank everybody for doing this. And if you haven't been on the show, it's super easy. Joe, did you have any problems getting booked?
Absolutely not. A couple quick emails back and forth, very friendly responses. Piece of the cake.
Awesome. So don't be scared to reach out. Like, your story doesn't have to be any certain way. You don't have to have posters. You don't have to have anything. You don't even have to have ever seen them live, because I'm a firm believer that you can be a fan of something without ever actually seeing them in real life. That's how music works. And so it's beautiful. So definitely check me out on any of the socials. I'm on everything. Find the Space Between podcast. And let me know if you're interested. But guys, there are going to be episodes coming out, because very, very rapid fire, because we're closing in on the end of the tour. And while that's sad to talk about, it's just sad to talk about, right? Because we know there's not a fall tour. And what are we going to do this fall? Like, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to be doing something. So I can't wait to find out so we can plan that. But this fall is going to look a little different. So y'all are going to have more time on your hands. So, hey, give a girl a phone call and be like, I want to be on the show because I have nothing else to do. Like, let's make this happen. So, and thank you for those that have already out. I hope everyone's enjoying listening to these stories. If you've listened to it and it wasn't for you, well, thanks for coming back. But if this is your first episode and you were like, that sucked. No offense to you, Joe, because I thought this was a great show. But like, no offense. Go to another episode. Like, the next episode will be completely different, because it's a completely different person talking about, we're talking about Dave Matthews Band, and but not really. We're really talking about just the art that it is, the tool that it is, has been used for healing, and that it's a great therapeutic tool for a lot of us. And we're so thankful to have it still. So if you're interested, let me know. And until the next time, guys, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.